Have you ever been in a relationship where something just felt off, but you couldn't quite explain why? Maybe your girlfriend seemed amazing in the beginning. She was kind, attentive, interested in you. She made you feel like you were the most important man in the world. But then slowly, something started changing. Conversations started turning into arguments. Every disagreement somehow became your fault. You started walking on eggshells, and you found yourself asking a question that many men ask at some point. Is it me? Or is something really wrong here? If you have ever asked that question, then this episode is for you.
Welcome to the Narc Free Man Podcast.
Welcome back to the Narc Free Man Podcast. I'm Phillip Dugas, and this show is about helping men understand narcissistic abuse, break free from toxic relationships, and rebuild their lives. So today, we're going to talk about something many men struggle to see clearly when they are inside the relationship. The signs that your girlfriend may be a narcissist. So this will hopefully give you clarity that you need now and not years later down the road when you're stuck in that toxic relationship. Before we go through the signs, I want to say something important. Just because someone shows one of these behaviors doesn't automatically make them a full-blown narc. But when these patterns happen over and over again, they create a relationship dynamic that slowly drains you and you need to pay attention to. So the first sign is that everything is your fault. Every disagreement somehow becomes your fault. Let's say you bring up something that bothered you. Maybe she spoke to you disrespectfully. Maybe she crossed a line. You calmly explain how it made you feel. Instead of talking about the issue, the conversation flips. And suddenly you are hearing things like, "Why are you attacking me?" Or "You are always criticizing me." Now, notice what just happened. You started the conversation to solve a problem, but now you are apologizing. It's not because you did something wrong necessarily, but because you brought the issue up in the first place. Now, this is called blame shifting. And over time, it trains you to stop speaking up. And once you stop speaking up, the relationship dynamic starts changing, which leads to the second sign. Go. You walk on eggshells. So the second sign is, you start walking around on eggshells in your own home. You begin monitoring things like her mood, her tone, her reactions. You start thinking things like, maybe I shouldn't say that, or this might start a fight. I'll bring it up later. But later never comes. So instead, you adjust yourself. You change your behavior. You try to keep the peace. And before long, you realize something uncomfortable. You are not relaxed in your own relationship. You are in survival mode. And when a toxic relationship puts you in survival mode long enough, it begins affecting how you see yourself, which leads to the third sign. Sign number 3 is that your confidence starts disappearing. Think about who you were before the relationship. You may have been confident, decisive, clear about what you wanted in life, but over time you start second guessing yourself. You question your decisions. You become hesitant. You start wondering if you are the problem. Here's a simple question I ask men. Do you feel stronger since being with her or smaller? Healthy relationships expand you. Toxic relationships reduce you. Now, here's where things get even more confusing, because sometimes you feel like you are remembering events clearly, but she insists that you are wrong. The sign number 4 is she rewrites reality, also known as, I'll call this the 4th sign, gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone makes you question your own memory or perception. You might say, "You told me you were going to be there." She responds, "That's not what I said." Or she might say, You are twisting things. That never happened. And at first, you push back, but over time, something changes. You begin replaying conversations in your head. You start gathering evidence just to prove what you experienced. And that confusion is exactly what gaslighting is designed to do, to create. Now, here's another reason narcissistic relationships are so confusing. What you experience privately often looks very different from what other people see. That brings me to sign number 5. Public charm and private control. So the fifth sign your girlfriend may be a narcissist is this. She appears wonderful to everyone else. In public, she may seem kind, charming, friendly. People might say she's amazing or you are lucky to have her. But behind closed doors, you experience something completely different. Criticism, coldness, manipulation. And when you try to explain that difference to people, they struggle to believe you. And that isolation makes the situation even harder. Now, here's another pattern that traps many men in these toxic relationships. Sign number 6 is you feel responsible for her emotions. For example, if she's upset, you feel like it's your job to fix it. If she explodes, you wonder what you did wrong, and you become the emotional regulator in the relationship. But healthy relationships don't work that way. Each person is responsible for managing their own emotions. So when one partner becomes responsible for everything, that dynamic becomes control. Now, the final sign might be the most powerful one of all because it explains why many men stay far longer in a toxic relationship than they should. Sign number 7 is you stay hoping she'll change. You stay because you believe things will change. You tell yourself, maybe she just needs patience. Maybe if I communicate better, things will improve. Maybe if I love her more, she'll feel safe. But here's the hard truth. Narcissistic patterns don't change without accountability. And accountability is exactly what narcissists avoid. Without accountability, the pattern repeats over and over again. Now, at some point, many men reach a moment of realization. They step back and ask themselves, why do I feel emotionally exhausted all the time? Why do I feel like I'm constantly defending myself? Why do I feel like I'm losing myself? And once that moment happens, the fog starts lifting. You start seeing the patterns. So if you recognize yourself in this episode, I want you to hear something clearly. You are not crazy, you are not weak, and you are not alone. So if you want a deeper breakdown of these patterns, make sure to check out my book, The Narcissistic Wife. It explains the psychology behind female narcissism, manipulation tactics, and why good men stay trapped in toxic relationships for years. You can find it on Amazon or Audible. Links are in my bio or in the description below. Until next time, stay strong, stay steady, and stay narc free.